आज हमारे पास में एक और नए मरीनर आए हैं, इनका नाम रेयांश है, ये चीफ इंजीनियर हैं, मेरा नाम तो आपको पता ही है। तो इनका भी कोई समस्या है, देखते हैं क्या समस्या है इनकी।
सर
Sorry for the non-Hindi speaking. His name is Reyansh, he's chief engineer and he's come with some problem. So let's see. So please don't mind if sometime I break off into Hindi.
yes sir. Sir, I am 38-year-old chief engineer right now, sir. Married for 8 years. I have a son who is 7 years old and a daughter, she is around 2 years old right now. Sir, in the last 2 to 3 years, I have realized that I have made a mess of my life just by not understanding finances properly. Sir, my corpus could have been today worth crore, more than in crores I would say, maybe 2 to 3 crores, the amount of selling that I have done. And today my corpus is just 1/5 of what it could have been. And today at 38 I realize that I still have to sell, because when I started my career at the age of 40, I thought by 40 I'll retire, but it never happened. Sir, now realizing that what kind of mistake that I made, I want my son that he should become financially very strong. So sir, I want to teach him finances from the very beginning. Now, is there any kind of app that I should go for, or kuch sir abacus or bookus type anything, or what should I do sir, so that wo abhi se
What are you doing about yourself?
sir main to galtiyan
Your corpus is only 20% of what it should have been. That was I think 2.5 crores you said.
yes sir.
And it is 20%, that means what? It is what, 40 lakhs? And when did you come to know that this thing is not correct? Your own financial management is not correct?
सर अराउंड 3 years बैक सर मैंने रियलाइज़ किया, जब मैंने थोड़ा अपने दोस्तों को देखा आगे बढ़ते हुए, क्योंकि सर उससे पहले द थिंग वाज कि वट एवर आई अर्नड, इधर आई इन्वेस्टेड, घर ले लिया, कुछ छोटे मोटे प्लॉट्स में इन्वेस्ट कर दिया, एंड कुछ लोन्स में दे दिया, सम बैड इन्वेस्टमेंट्स एज वेल।
तो जब नहीं, मैं ये नहीं पूछा, मैं सिर्फ इतना जानना चाह रहा हूँ कि आप जिस चीज़ को फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट कहते हैं उसकी तरफ आपकी अवेयरनेस कब आई?
सर 3 years
प्लीज आंसर टू द स्पेसिफिक पॉइंट्स, डोंट एक्सपैंड, ओके? तो जब आपको ये मालूम पड़ा कि ये ऐसा गलत चल रहा है जो भी किया था, तब आपने क्या किया?
सर अभी कोशिश करता हूँ कुछ वीडियोस वगैरह देखने की, आई ट्राई टू सी अ लॉट ऑफ
वीडियो तो ठीक है
जी।
फाइनेंसेस को रिस्ट्रक्चर करने के लिए आपने क्या किया 3 साल पहले, जब आपने ये रियलाइज़ किया कि भाई ये ऐसे नहीं, ऐसे होना चाहिए?
सर सबसे पहले सर मैं जितने मुझे लगा कि आई एम डूइंग, जो मैं खर्चे कर रहा हूँ बिना सोचे समझे, मैंने उसके ऊपर सर लगाम लगाई। सर व्हाट आई हैव डन इज, नाउ आई मेड अ लिस्ट कि दीज आर माई एक्सपेंसेस, दीज आर माई अर्निंग्स एंड व्हाट आर वेयर आई एम इन्वेस्टिंग। मैंने कहाँ
लिस्ट आपने पेपर में बनाई या डायरी में बनाई?
सर एक्सेल शीट में।
एक्सेल शीट में? वो एक्सेल शीट आपकी वाइफ ने देखी?
नहीं सर, लड़ाई हो जाएगी लड़ाई हो जाएगी। तो
जब आपने ये, अभी तक तो आप 38 के हो गए हैं, शादी आपकी हुई थी 30 साल की उम्र में?
जी सर 8 years
है ना, तो 8 years तक, तो 8 years तक जो भी खर्च आपने किए वो आपने यूनिलैटरली किए हैं या वाइफ से पूछ के किए थे?
सर कुछ वाइफ के साथ सपोर्ट से और कुछ बिना पूछे।
Okay. Now we will switch to English so that our people who don't follow Hindi, they can also follow.
Understood,
okay.
sir.
So now which are the kind of expenses that you did with the concurrence of your wife?
Sir, like buying a house, like buying a car, buying a small land also for a future farmhouse. These were some important investments, major investments.
What about the decision to buy a television?
So ये तो I thought sir this is also concurrence, yes, buying sir over here it was unilaterally made by my wife, this TV, this sofa.
What about the laptop?
Sir again sir okay, me over here, my laptop, my and if her laptop was as per her choice.
Okay. And what about the different gadgets in the kitchen? The
sir,
fridge?
her choice.
The fridge?
Her choice, sir.
Okay. So did she ask you also?
Yeah, it's not about asking. She told me कि I want to buy this fridge. It costs 60,000 rupees. I just told her कि भाई do we need this big fridge? No, this is very important. So then I said ले लो यार, go ahead.
And then how many televisions you have at home?
So 3 televisions, sir.
Okay.
2 in rooms, both 2 rooms and 1 in the hall, sir.
Okay. So all televisions were purchased by her own this thing, or you were also involved in the decision?
Sir, generally all this kind of shopping has happened when I am on ship.
Okay.
फिर पीछे से सर चलता रहता है, ये भी वो भी.
But did she consult you about this?
Yeah sir कि अब अब एक TV लेना है, that we have to buy a TV now, we have to buy a TV now,
Okay.
this TV is become old, we'll buy a new one, something like this.
Now, there is a particular reason why I am asking you all these questions, and I will continue to ask these questions.
Please,
because
please,
these
sir.
questions will answer your main thing. So, how much was the land worth when you purchased it?
The house that I bought, or the land, the small?
The land.
Sir, it was worth 40 lakhs.
40 lakhs, okay. So, for a 40 lakh land, you took your viewpoint from your wife,
Yes sir.
right? Did you take that viewpoint from your parents also?
Sir, abhi at that time, yes sir, my father was involved. Yes, he knew about this. Ki bhai, I am going to buy this.
For the house?
Yes sir, definitely. It was a very big decision for us.
So, mother, father,
Yes,
wife,
everyone,
everybody.
everybody.
Everybody sat at the table?
I wouldn't say sir at Saturday, but everybody knew कि मैं क्या करना है, because I used to discuss with them that this property is located over here, should we shift over here, because everybody's life will change because of that one particular location. So that is why I consulted everyone.
So now tell me one thing, that how can you say that your financial management was poor? A house is a very big necessity which should be obtained because you have your family to think about. It was possible that the earlier house was not so big or not so in a good locality, so you decided to buy, and you took the viewpoint from your parents, right? The land also, you thought it is a good investment, so, and the car also, everybody needs a car. Maybe you bought a big car, you should have got for some small car. I don't know what you bought.
Yes sir.
So you took the viewpoint from your wife.
Yes.
Maybe your father was also involved in it.
For
Right?
car, no, not for car.
Okay, okay. But now you see, why I am asking all this question is that for something very important, you involved your father. For something less pressing matter or less urgent matter, you did not involve your parents, you involved your wife. Maybe if you had a brother or sister, you would have involved them also. For a smaller thing, which did not directly affect your expertise, your wife purchased it separately. For something which you did not think that your wife is involved, you took that decision separately.
Right.
And your life was moving on. And now you have a child, was born, and that child has become 8 years old. And because you did not realize that your financial management information and knowledge is poor on your own, you realize because your friends were doing something different.
And better.
That we cannot say. That will turn out later on. Now your question main is that what you should do with your son so that he doesn't make the same mistakes
Right.
which they made.
Yes.
Now, that is the reason why I have asked all these questions. There is a very old saying that a family which prays together stays together. Now, I will change it little bit. A family which eats together stays together. I am not very enamored with the British culture and the European culture, but I know two things that the British have given us. And one of them, of course, not directly British, but one was the television, because in olden times we had one television where everybody sat together, laughed together and cried together. Another thing was the dining table. Before this, everybody in the house either used to sit in the kitchen, there was a big kitchen, they used to all sit down. The patriarch used to eat there, the grandfather, or used to be given out, and the grandmother used to be given out, and the first, and then everybody used to sit in the kitchen and eat. But the British brought a different culture of a dining table. In an Indian family, the dining table is a illustration of getting together. It is not only a place where we eat. You will find that when the lady comes with the vegetables and everything, she puts on that. When the child comes from school, he puts the bag on that. When the husband comes from the office, he puts his laptop and a bag on that. It is a center point. After some time, everything goes back, but they come and it is put there. It may not happen in the American or British or culture.
It happens in our house
but
as
it
well.
happens in a country. So that is the reason, because that is a kind of a alter ego of the entire family. And if in this entire affair, now that your child is 8, he is exactly at the age at which I say the children should be involved in the running of the house. I say that it is the child who shapes the family, and I will prove it. It is not the family which shapes the child. It is the child who shapes the family.
बताइए.
You decide on the child when he goes to the playgroup. You decide on the child when he goes to the school. But very soon, the child decides whether he likes that school or not. So, I would like that everybody, before they buy a house, and if they have a child who's more than 6-7 years of age or even 5 years of age, everybody should sit on the table if it's a combined family. I will not say joint family, but if the parents, the grandparents are there and you are there and your child is there or children are there, you should sit at the table. Not only buying the house or the refrigerator or the new gas stove. Everything in the house should be discussed. Because why I asked all this question was that the expenses were separate. The priority of discussion depended upon the seriousness, but the source of income was one. Was your source of income what you were earning? Because we'll assume that you did not take anything from your parents and your wife was not earning.
Right, completely right.
So, your child first through the discussions must realize that when your wife says, wait, we need a new refrigerator, and you say that we cannot take a new refrigerator because we do not have sufficient money, then your child should be able to say that we don't have enough money, and you should be able to say that we have money but not enough to buy this refrigerator now. We will have to cut some expenses now to buy it later on. This statement has already taught your son or your daughter at the age of 6, 7 and 8 the first chapter of economics, that wants are unlimited, means are limited. Without doing anything, the child has known. Tomorrow when you suggest something, you say we should buy this, and your wife said yes, and if the child says, but do we need this? Is it necessary? You can consider that your child has finished MBA in class 1. He has already learned that financial management. Financial management is not about learning about mutual funds. Financial management is not about learning between debt and equity. Financial management is not about SIP and STP. Financial management is first to realize that we have limited means. अरे हमारे देश में जो हमारे मदर, ग्रैंड मदर, वाइव्स हैं, ये कितने टाइम से घर में फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट कर रहे हैं? कौन सा MBA पढ़ के आए थे? मेरे फादर की, मैं बार बार कहता हूँ, 1000 रुपीज़ एज अ डॉक्टर सैलरी थी और वो पूरा घर मैनेज करती थी मेरी मदर, उसमें से कम में, बिकॉज सम ऑफ इट हैड टू बी सेव्ड और वॉट एवर, बट पूरा मैनेज करते। तो वो कौन सा MBA करके आए थे? तो इज़ दैट नॉट फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट? और आप तो इतना सारा कमा रहे हो। बट आप उस स्टेज में अपने बच्चे को अभी बताओगे स्टॉक्स क्या है, म्यूचुअल फंड क्या है, बैंक डिपॉजिट क्या है, वो बात की बात है। सबसे पहले तो उसे सिखाना होता है कि हमारे पास, पहले बात तो जब आप, वो बच्चा चलने लायक हो जाता है और आपकी उंगली पकड़ के ही वॉक्स इनटू द मॉल एंड ही सेज आई वांट दिस, you should give him the money after agreeing that we can only buy one thing. What do you want to buy? And then he cannot read the price and you tell him this is this much. This is costing 300 rupees and here is a 500 rupee note. Don't give him a credit card. Tell him take this 500 rupee, go to the counter and buy. And when he buys a thing for 299 rupees and he gets 201 rupees back, you can consider that, 199 back, you can consider that battle is won. You have taught the child that to take something, you have to give something. That is his first lesson in money. And now you know that, see, we gave a bigger note, now we got a small note. He doesn't know how to read yet, but he has already learnt that this is the way we buy something. And this I am telling you specifically out of my own personal experience when I went to school at the age of 4 years and 4 months. And I suddenly was pushed into a beautiful place where we had beautiful girls sitting next to me and not so good looking boys, who cares about them. And there was a beautiful teacher walking in, all Anglo-Indian British ladies and walking in and out, and now it was a fairy kingdom. And we were given scissors to cut papers and different things. So I thought that it is to be taken home. I put it in my bag and took it home. And when my father saw it and he said, where did you get this from? I said, we got it in the school. Now he thought maybe in the school they are distributed. So, but then the teacher said, wrote a note that your son has stolen this scissor. Now what a big mistake. The teacher did not realize that the word stealing is not even in the mind of the child. If it is not in the mind of the parents, how can it be in the mind of the child? This is one incident. Second incident, we go to the market same year after 1 or 2 months and I see the same scissor in the market. Let me tell you, those who are from Dehradun, this was in beginning of Rama market. That shop still exists today after all these 55 years. And I saw the scissor there and I said, ye leni hai, aur I picked the scissor and walked off. And the shopkeeper didn't see, my parents didn't see, and again they come home and they see the scissor. He said, where did you get a scissor now? I said, from that shop. He said, now my father says you have stolen. Imagine at the age of 4 years and 6 months you are told that something is stolen. You don't even know the word what is stolen. So I asked my mother, I said, what is steal? Chori karna kya hota hai? And my mother, who was half as educated as my father, realized that things are going in the wrong way. She again took me by bus, which took 2 hours to go to the same shop. She said, कल बेटा ये सीजर आपसे ले गया था, लेकिन उसके पैसे नहीं दिए थे, तो आज पैसे देने आए हैं. उन्होंने वहाँ पर समझाया और बहुत सारी चीज़ों का ऐसे ही we did sale and purchase. You want this cost 50 paisa. You want this cost 1 rupee. This is the cost of things that were those times. But at that moment, my mother taught me that things have to be purchased. You cannot take them without giving money. Maybe children today are smart and because of all this television, they will understand that you have to buy them, you have to pay money. But those days I did not know. So why I am telling this story is, personal story is that how can you tell a child you are telling lies, you are stealing, unless you have introduced him to a situation like that. You should have the sincerity to explain all these things to him. So once your child has understood that this is the way we should move with things, this is the way we should buy, and for buying we need money, and money is not always enough. We can buy small things, but we cannot buy big things. The picture starts forming in his mind much faster than what you think. There are two things. The children's intelligence does not work linear way. It does not work in a gradual graph. It works in an exponential way. It goes beyond our imagination. If you handle your child very well at the age of 2 and 3, you can actually expect him to clear his graduation by the age of 10. Actually, that is the intelligence of a child. We do not teach children, we teach them how to restrict themselves, because we don't want the children to move with a speed which is faster than ours or faster than the teachers. But the child's speed can be enormous. Especially in our country, we know, we learn, we force them by sending them to play groups and sending them to schools how to restrict themselves. We don't want to let their imagination fly. Don't ask the child what color is the car. Tell him that is a red car, but what happens if all the cars in the city are like the same color? Ask him and see what reply he gives. Can you imagine if all the cars in the city were black, or like Fords wanted, or all the cars in the city were red? What will happen in the parking? But that kind of question is the open question. It opens the child's mind to enormous possibilities in life. So, and we cannot even imagine that, what he is thinking. So the point is, we have to give the seed to the child. He will grow the tree. Don't worry about financial management classes. Don't worry about apps. Keep him away from these knowledge. Keep him away from this formal education. Give him money when he grows and he starts going to school. Give him 100 rupees. That this money you should try to spend in school. But after, you should tell him you must spend this in school. But after you come back, in your book, write down what did you buy for how much. What did you buy and what is the remaining money. So it works better than teaching him addition and subtraction in the class. Am I wrong?
100% right, sir.
The problem is the way we are taught. Grown-up people, all of us have learned compound interest in class 7th and 8th. How many of us have applied it to life? And today everybody, all these financial advisors, they are earning money out of just teaching compounding. Everybody talks about compounding without even realizing. Even I did not realize what is compounding till actually it worked for me. But these are big words. You don't have to spoil the imagination of a child. Please do not spoil the innocence of a child. A child is a beautiful entity which is, they don't belong to us. You know, Khalil Gibran said, our children don't belong to us. They come through us. We are a medium by which they come through us to do better things than us. So don't try to restrain your child by your limited knowledge. Your knowledge, my knowledge is very limited. Then, like again going back to the same question, just 2 years before did we know about AI? Or 4 years before did we know AI? Your child will be working on AI in class 5. He'll be learning about AI in class 5 and you'll be wondering what it is all about. So that's my answer to you. I hope it satisfies.
सर satisfied रोंगटे खड़े हो गए हैं सर मेरे goosebumps happening. Sir, I would say I will try my level best. And last but not the least, मेरा नाम रियांश नहीं है और ये क्वेश्चन मेरा नहीं है. जय माता दी.